Get up fam, it's your girl Bam. So welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you have been watching my videos, thank you very much for being faithful. And this is your first time watching my content, stay tuned because you're going to have a blast. Today I'm going to be talking about a very interesting topic, or a topic I think many people really want to know more about. And the topic is, stay tuned and let's get down to business. Okay, so the topic is, I'll just be moving you with the steps you need to be aware of when you decide that you want to apply for a scholarship to study in the US, or just for admission to study in the US. I've gotten so many people coming to my DM saying, Bamsi, what do I do? Like, how do I apply for scholarships? How do I get admission? Like, I just want to study abroad, but I don't know anything about the process. I don't know what to do. The first thing I tell people is, it's going to be really difficult, and you need to be like disciplined and passionate or determined to be able to achieve this goal. In order to, like, if you're not really serious about it, don't even start, because it's going to be tough. Yeah. The first thing you have to be mindful about when applying for scholarship or admission in the United States of America is your GCE results. Some people come to me saying, I want to apply for a scholarship, I want it to be fully funded, but they took 5 papers in the advanced level and then they had 8 points. So it's possible you can get admissions with that kind of results, but to get a scholarship, that will be extremely hard, except you're getting a scholarship on need basis and not merit basis. Okay, but most need-based scholarships are given to students that are high performing. Okay, let me break all of this down. So in order to get a scholarship, or to be eligible to get a scholarship to study in the United States of America, you need to make sure you have like good GCE results. So if you took 5 papers, you should have 5 on 5, or at minimum 20 points on 25. So even though 20 points on 25 might seem like a lot, like that's so many points, it's still low, because when you're applying for schools, you don't use it, like you don't say you had 20 and 25 points. You say you convert your GCE results to a GPA, to GPA standards. I've forgotten the exact calculation, but like for example, I took 5 papers, I had 25 points, and when I converted, sorry, I didn't have 25 points, I wish I did, but I had 20 points. And so when I converted to be on 4, like a GPA of 4.0, it becomes 3.2 on 4. So on the point scale, it seems very high, but when you convert it to GPA, it's like 3.2. That's not really high for a high school student. So ideally, you should have that kind of GCE results and above. To get a scholarship, you need to have as the maximum points you can possibly have, and to be able to get admissions only in any school, you can get any points, like 5 points on, no, that's low. You need to get, if you convert your GPA and it's like 2.0 on 4, then yeah, you're good to go for admissions. But if you're applying for scholarships, then 3.6 and above, yeah, you'll be good. Okay, so the next point we're going to be talking about is the SAT. So what is the SAT? Its full meaning is scholastic aptitude. I always refer to it to be like Americans' own GCE, because that's what they take in order to apply for colleges, for them to be able to apply for university. But it's not a requirement, so you can apply if you don't have the money, or you don't want to take the SAT, or you don't have the time to take the SAT. Then you can apply to schools that do not require the ACT, or are ACT optional. But if you had very low GCE scores and you really want to get a scholarship because your family can't afford to sponsor in the US, then taking the ACT would be a smart idea, because even if you had a low GCE, even if you had a low GPA, if your ACT scores are really good, then you stand a high chance getting a scholarship to study in the United States of America. And apart from the SAT, most people refer to Cameroon as a French country, and so we are required to take the TOEFL. So TOEFL is full meaning is test of English as a foreign language. So when you take the TOEFL, I think it's on 110. Try to make sure you have like 100 and 110. That shows you're really fluent in English, and you'll be able to you'll be able to go through your education when you come to the United States. So you understand English, and when the professors are teaching, you'll be able to understand what they are saying. Apart from the TOEFL, you can also take its substitutes like IELTS or Duolingo. Those are alternatives to the TOEFL. And you can be asking me, how do I take the TOEFL? How do I find out information about it? Like, what do I do? I always tell people, make Google your best friend, because if you Google what is the SAT, it's going to tell you everything about the SAT and stuff like that. But if you're wondering where can you write the SAT or study for the SAT in Cameroon, there are two places I know. One is Open Dreams. I'm going to talk more about Open Dreams, and the other is American Language Center. So the American Language Center is located in Bastos. So when you reach Carrefour Bastos, you walk a little bit, you pass Dove Bastos, and then keep looking at the signs. It's on your left, and then you see the American Language Center. I'm so bad with descriptions, but bear with me. No, it's in Bastos. I think you can try it on Google. If it's on Google, then you can find a way there using Google Maps. So yeah, that's where you can find information about taking the TOEFL, IELTS. I think it's the British Center, and that's located in the place where there are so many banks. I'm forgetting how they're called, but yeah, you can take the IELTS there or Duolingo. So now I was talking about Open Dreams, another place where you can take the SAT, where you can take classes for the SAT and the TOEFL, or Duolingo or IELTS. And Open Dream Center is a place you can do that. At Open Dream Center though, it has like cut off GCE results that you need to get in. So for example, if you took 5 papers, you need to have 25 points in order to be to apply for the Open Dream Summer Academy. When you apply for the Summer Academy, if you're accepted, then throughout the Summer Academy, you get to do classes for IELTS, TOEFL, and they just walk through the necessary materials or skills you need to be aware of when applying to schools abroad. Like, I would say it's kind of like a center where you train people to be able to get scholarships, basically. And so that's why they have high cutoff points, because you need to have those kind of points in order to get a scholarship in the first place. So I'm going to put the links to everything in the description below, and yeah, feel free to use the resources to the best of your ability. Another place you can also study for the SAT is called Khan Academy. All you need to do is create an account, log into Khan Academy, and start your classes right away. I think Khan Academy creates like a schedule of the number of courses you need to take a week or a day, and if you follow that schedule, you make sure every time you fill a question, make sure you do your revisions, you do all of that, then you're set to be able to study. You're set to be able to go take the exams in the American Language Center and excel with flying colors. And then we now move to the second step, which is the most it's tedious. Yeah, it's tiring, bro. You have to spend like sleepless nights in order to achieve this dream of yours. And so the next step, which is the most important step of all, is the application process. So the first thing you need to do is go online. If you're looking for, like, you shouldn't only look for schools in the US, because it's going to make your life here really miserable. So now, what do you want? Maybe you say you want to live in a state that is hot, or you like the cold, you want to stay in a state that is cold, or you like a busy town, or you like a quiet environment. So you can start by googling states in the US that have this kind of atmosphere, or have this kind of preference, or have this kind of stuff. And then when you find those states, you now look for colleges in these states that have this kind of major, or have what you want to study. By so doing, you're able to look for a school that you fit, and a school that fits your needs too, because it's not only about them, what they have to give you, it's also about what you have to give them. And so when you go to Google, you first of all, you look for the schools. Or you can be a student that just wants to go to like a prestigious school and say, yes, I did it, yes, I went to this school. You can go online too and look for those kind of schools to apply to. And so when you find all the list of schools you want to apply to, I think you should always do this before taking the SAT. This is because you might find out that all the schools you want to apply to do not require the SAT, so there's no point taking it, and there's no time wasting money, and there's no need wasting time and money over the SAT when you necessarily do not need it. So you find a list of schools, you look at the requirements. When you look at the requirements, if they need the SAT, yeah, go ahead and take it. If it's SAT optional, but you think your GCE results were really low and you want to like make up for it, then take the SAT, because it's going to boost your application. Apart from the SAT, there are many other requirements that other schools ask for, such as your personal statements, your resume, like experience. I think resume is really rare, but yeah, sometimes schools ask for it. Recommendation letters and transcripts. For your transcripts, you need to go back to the school you graduated from, like from Form 1 to upper sit. Go back to that school. If you went to different schools, and then you have to go to all those schools and get your transcripts from all those schools. Get your GCE results slips. You get those ones, and then you scan them, and then you upload them into the application platform. And then after you upload all your transcripts and that stuff, you now need recommendation letters. And these recommendation letters are usually from I forgot, how do you call it? I want to say professor, but it's not professor. It's your teacher, I think. Yeah, you go to your teacher and you ask them, I need a recommendation letter. And it's also very advisable that if you want to study like biology in college, or when you come to the US, get a recommendation letter from your biology teacher or your physics or chemistry, not from your literature or history teacher. So you get those recommendations. You can also get one from your English teacher and your maths teacher, because sometimes they require, I think it's 2, but sometimes it could require 3. So you get all these recommendation letters, you upload. But sometimes you don't get the recommendation letters directly from the professor. You send them a link, and then they upload the recommendation letters from the other end, so you don't get to see the recommendation letters. So if you had a problem with a professor or a teacher in high school, I recommend not getting a recommendation letter from them, because they might say something awful about you, and you don't want that to be on an application letter, because it's going to decrease your chances of getting admitted into the university you want to get to. So make sure you're in good standing with the professors or the teachers that you write recommendation letters for you. And then after that, what else? It can also ask you for experience in the field you want to get into, or talents outside the classroom. It's a very big question. So schools are not just about, you had all the A's, you did everything, you were always in class, you were present, you listened. They're also interested about you outside of the classroom. They don't just want to get a student that is, I don't know the word, but a student that is they want a student that is all-rounded. So even though you passed in class, yes, what did you do out of class? And some of the things you can say you did out of class, maybe you represented your school at a sports competition, or you are a volunteer in a local NGO in your community. And volunteering experience is a very important part of your application process. For example, if I want to be a doctor, then to prove to them that you're really passionate about doing this, you have to show them that you've had some experience in the field. Like maybe you're volunteering at a hospital, you went outside, you weed the grass and all that stuff, or you were shadowing a doctor. I don't think you can shadow a doctor when you leave high school, but if you had the privilege to do that, then you can boast about that and say, yes, I was able to do this. But even if you have no experience in the direct field you're going to study in, make sure you have like experience in impacting your community, or helping the young girls and boys in your community, or people in vulnerable societies in your community. I repeat, volunteering experience is super important when it comes to applying to colleges to study in the United States of America. And this question came to my mind. So someone might say, how soon can I get to the US? How soon can I apply for schools, take the SAT, do everything, apply, and then get admissions, get a visa, and travel? I would say approximately like minimum 1 year. Like 1 year, you need like some months to prepare for the SAT, take the SAT, and then apply, and then get feedback, and then all that stuff. So after the application process, these are just a few of the requirements that schools have, but you could always go to the particular school you're applying to and look at the requirements to make sure that you're meeting up all of them. And also make sure you ask your recommendation letters, you ask for your transcripts and all those documents before the deadline. It's super important, because after the deadline, all the other work you've put into place, maybe you took the SAT, you've submitted everything, but you forgot to submit your recommendation letters, your application could just be put in the trash. And that's really hurtful, because you put in a lot of passion, a lot of work into writing a personal statement and into doing all of this stuff. So just failing to meet the deadline is so heartbreaking. So, and also when you apply to schools, make sure you check your email every single day, because you don't want them to say, oh, we received your application, we are super excited you're applying to our school, and now we want you to schedule for an interview, and then you miss that email. So even though you check your email, make sure you also check your junk files or your spam files, to make sure that no email has gone in there that you need to see, because this is super important to stick to deadlines, because if you miss a deadline, that's it, like no other chance for you. So after applying, the next step I was really talking about, which is the interview process. So when the school reaches out to you and says, oh, I want you to come for an interview, or like go do an interview over Zoom or over Gmail, is it Google Meet and all that stuff, don't just wait when the day comes, you log in on Zoom and then you go have your interview. You have to make sure, one, you have to make sure you have a good background, two, you have to make sure you have stable internet connection, and three, you have to make sure you're super prepared. Now you might ask me, how do I prepare for the interview? First, you go online. I said, make Google your best friend. You go to Google, you type which kind of questions this school can ask for an interview, admissions interview. You go there, you look at the questions you prepare, you meet your parents or your mom or your dad or your sisters, and you ask them, how am I doing with these questions? What kind of answers can I give? Or for example, you have a friend that is studying abroad, ask them how they did it, prepare with them, make them give you a mock interview and prepare you, so that when you get to the main interview session, you shall be super prepared. I know sometimes it's very intimidating to speak to your friend and you're like, I don't know, I'm scared, like I don't know. And so it's just overcome this fear and just be vulnerable enough to allow your peer correct you, because in the long run you're going to be happy you actually did that. So when you prepare, go for your interview, be super prepared. Don't be nervous. No, as much as you want them, they want you too. So be prepared, be happy, and yeah, go and kill it. And so after your interview, the next thing you have to do is wait for your admission decision. If the school reaches out to you and say, I'm sorry, we didn't accept you for this reason, and you really feel like you had a good application, then you can reach out to them and ask them why specifically did they reject you, and then that way you know what to work on and what to build on if you are thinking of applying to the school during the next application time period. And if the school said, yes, we are admitting you, yes, welcome to our school, we are happy to have you, the next process is scheduling or paying for your visa interview and scheduling for your visa interview. So it's a whole process. Like when I got my admission letter, I was like, yes, I'm almost done, yes, I'm almost there, all I need to do is go online, fill a form, done. It was tiring. I literally cried sometimes. Like I had to go to the bank to and forth. You have to pay so many fees, you have to get so many documents, you have to take snapshots of your face, you need to print so many. It was a lot. So yeah, so after you get your admission, you're halfway through. Like it's halfway, you're not even at the end, you are halfway. Hey. Okay, let me get back to business. So yeah, so you're halfway through the process, and then after that you can you're halfway through the process. So after you've gotten your admission letter, you now have to go for your visa interview. You have to schedule. They'll send you links, the school will send you documents on how to prepare. You use all those materials, and then you book your visa interview. Once you book the visa interview, as I said earlier, do not sit down and wait for the day to come and then you walk tinkly tinkly ting, I'm going for my visa interview. Come back home, as I said, make Google your best friend. You go online, you Google questions, visa interview questions as an F1 student. You can see a list of different results will come out, and then questions you can use to prepare. If you have friends that are studying abroad, you can reach out to them and help them prepare you for the visa interview, because they have gone through it and all that stuff. They will help you prepare for everything, and you to do your part of the work, like prepare, practice. Because the first time I realized I had to go stand in front of the consulate, I think that's how they're called, right? Yeah, I think so. The first time I realized I had to do that and go for my visa interview, I was panicking. I couldn't say a sentence correctly. I was physically shaking, like my lips were like blah, 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 blah. It was bad. But after I prepared, because one of the admissions persons in my school offered to help me with the visa interview process, so I had a meeting with one of them. I had a call with my dad, a call with my mom. It was a lot. And then my junior brother was 5 years old, 9 years old. He helped me prepare. Like it was a long process, but eventually I was able to walk in there confidently. And another thing, pray. Yeah, pray and just be confident and know that God got your back. And so when you get into the visa interview hall, yeah, place. You're going to be super confident. You're going to submit all your documents and make sure everything is fine. Oh, the next step is you have to, after you've submitted your application, you also need to make sure you check for the scholarship requirements. So different schools have different scholarship requirements, and one thing that is very important for you not to lose sight of is that the FAFSA is only, they call it FAFSA. It's only for American students. So if you're a Cameroonian or international student, make sure you do not apply for that because you're not eligible to apply for it. But there's another document called the ISFA, I think, and international students are eligible for that. Always go through the particular school you're applying for, go through their website and make sure you're up to date with all the information about their financial aid or scholarships, so that you know what you're doing and you know the way to go forward. If you're faced with any difficulty and any hurdles around the way that you need someone to address, if you have any close friends or people that are already studying abroad, go to them, or alternatively go to Google, because Google is your best friend and Google will give you all the answers you need possible. And apart from everything I've already mentioned, there are a few things you should be mindful of. One is your social media. So for example, if you say you're a feminist and then you're applying and then on your social media you keep talking about violence towards women and just things that are against what you stand for, what your application said you stand for, then that could disqualify you for the application process. They're like, I'm not sure who this person is, so I don't think the person would be good for our community. Well, that's what the admissions officer might say. So make sure everything is like straight. I'm not saying you shouldn't post. Yeah, you can post whatever you want to post, but also make sure it's in alliance with who you represent yourself as, like who you told the admission officer you are. So make sure everything is in alignment with you. Apart from that, there's something I wanted to mention. Yeah, so there's applications usually require you to pay an application fee, but application fees too can be waived, especially if you're really broke and you don't have money to pay for applications. All you really need is just for a chance for them to read your essay. And so if there's no steps on the website on how to apply for a fee waiver, like you can, when you apply for fee waiver, it means you're telling them, I don't have the money to pay and could you cancel this fee for me and accept my application still. So if there are no steps on the website on how you can apply for a fee waiver, then you can just send them an email. There's always a contact information on the school's website. Send them an email and say, this is my name, this is where I come from, I'm applying for this particular program for the year of this, and I'm not financially able or viable to pay this particular fee right now, and is there any way possible I could be granted a fee waiver? Thank you. Hoping to hear from you soon. Best, your name. That's it. Submit. And at the head of every email, I always say, do not say good morning or good afternoon or good evening, because you can be morning at your time zone, but in the other time zone it's night. So they'll be like, why are you telling me good morning when it's night? So just say greetings, and greeting, if you're not sure if it's a man or woman, you can say greetings sir/madam, then everything I said earlier, and yeah, you can submit your application. So do not forget to, that's all the content I have for you today. I hope it was super helpful, and do well to share to your friends and loved ones and have them watch the video, like, comment. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section. If there's any part of the video you want me to expatiate on, comment in the comment section. I'll do well to explain or create another video on the particular topic you suggested. So yeah, I'm super excited to be here today. As I earlier mentioned, do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and have a great day.